If you like the story, don't forget to support the author. Link is in the description.
Chapter 1, Fuck. Host, this is the crossroads of your life, this is the bifurcation of fate. According to your choice, you will get a completely different future. You are about to go to the new world to start a new life. Do you choose the real two-dimensional or the false two-dimensional? Please make your decision. Mu Xiao never imagined that he would get hit by a truck and die, not to mention get the legendary gold finger one day. Listening to what it said, go to the new world to start a new life, isn't this just time travel, and there are two-dimensional worlds? This is probably a double-digit score. Surprisingly, there are two combos. Is there still a choice? It must be the real two-dimensional world. It's normal for teenagers to make such a choice when they can't ask for more information. As for the false two-dimensional dimension, who knows if it's a weird place? Holding the system in his hands and starting a new life in the two-dimensional anime world, he had already begun to imagine the future. Then he was cheated. Congratulations to the host for making a choice, starting to distribute the initial gifts. Ding, the execution of the host's justice has been detected. As a mortal, you dared to challenge the world. At the crossroads of fate, you did not choose to enjoy life in a stable and peaceful world but decided to set foot in a chaotic place and take the risk yourself. The host gets an S rating for your choice and gets the following rewards. Skill points, 20. Skill foretelling I. The system's words were really intriguing, but the young host was already immersed in the surrounding scenery and didn't notice anything. Underscore 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 underscore. Ah, the wind. Ah, the city. Ah, this fiery cloud that dyes the sky red. I really transmigrated to a different world, said Mu Xiao, who opened his eyes and scratched his face. Feeling the pain, he didn't feel bad at all, only endless happiness. Standing on the roof of the building facing the wind, the hems of the clothes kept flapping, the playground was in sight, buildings under the setting sun were in sight, and the sparse number of club members and students. But why did I appear in school, still wearing an unfamiliar school uniform? It can't be soul transmigration, right? He searched for his mobile phone in his pocket but took out his student ID card together with the phone, and it fell to the ground with a pop. Startled, he bent down to pick it up. Student ID card. It's my name. Oh, it turned out to be the initial gift of the system. The mobile phone is his own, and the name on the student ID card has not changed, but there is an additional student identity. In addition to the identity, the gift from the system also included language proficiency. As he was Chinese and was having no problem reading Japanese letters. Of course, these were not the main points. Then he went to a corner and called out his system. Checking its function, he saw the system records on the data interface. In addition to the gifts given, it triggered system rewards. It hasn't even been 5 minutes since I transmigrated to this world, and there is an S-level reward already. Without a little bit of defense, could it be that I also have the appearance of the protagonist? He thought seriously. Being a protagonist can be said to be a legendary start. With the protagonist's halo, beat villains, gather heroines, and live a wonderful life. It's just that the system said its world is some kind of chaotic place. What does that mean? Why can't I understand? Not to mention, this damned system rewarded him for his choice, saying that he was some mortal challenging the world. Why would the protagonist go against the world? Aren't they all protected by the world's will or something like that? Mu Xiao looked around in bewilderment. There was no end of the world. Looking at the quiet surroundings. Suddenly, he had a bad feeling. A very bad one. The other school, why have I never heard of it? The completely unfamiliar school also cast a shadow over his head. Shouldn't the system give him the status of a high school student in some major anime like Sobu High School or Shuchin Academy? After all, he selected the two-dimensional world, right? An anime world where he can be a protagonist with a system, open a harem, and reach the pinnacle of life, as he dreamed moments ago, right? It's fine anyway, maybe he'll meet the characters in this school. Let's go around the school. Mu Xiao Xiao finally swept around the empty rooftop, turned, and left. Until now, he didn't seem to realize the seriousness of the matter. Empty corridors, quiet classrooms, everything seems so normal. On the first floor, he found his shoe cabinet, walked out of the teaching building, and approached the warehouse at the back of the school. But as he came to the warehouse, Mu Xiao Xiao finally noticed something unusual. The location was remote, and there were no people there. But he heard conversations. What do you mean? Nanao, it seems that you don't take my words seriously, I've made it very clear. Coach Tugu, I have long heard that you have a bad reputation and often harass women in school. It seems that this is true, said the girl named Nanao, who was wearing a baseball cap on her head. Her pretty face was full of anger as she looked at the person in front of her. As the coach of the baseball club. I'm the coach of the baseball club. The person named Tugu interrupted her, emphasizing. I just want to abide by the rules of the club. The baseball club forbids dating. But Nanao, you and Katace were having a secret tryst here, you have already violated the club's rules. That kid, Katace, dared to challenge the rules of the club even though he is a first-year freshman. Is there a problem with me kicking him out of the main selection? Katace and I have just arrived, and there is nothing yet. That's because I'm here. Coach Tugu said condescendingly, looking down at the girl in front of him. Coach Tugu, whatever, maybe I'll forget his name after a few chapters or write his name as Togo. And maybe I'll come up with some random names for the male characters. Like Ugly Bastard 1, 2, and so on. And yellow hair, this and that. So please ignore them. No one cares about them in hentai anyway, not to mention in NTR hentai. Nanao, you don't want to see Katace getting kicked out of the main selection, do you? You. Akane Nanao looked pale and nervous, the expression on her face under the brim of the hat changed as she shook her little hand and exclaimed. What do you want to do? I'll give you sexual guidance. The situation has become like this because you seduced that kid. To prevent your lust from going out of control like earlier. I will teach you a way to vent it out by teaching you about sex. After my guidance, you will no longer be curious about the opposite sex, and you will not go to seduce him again. Isn't it the perfect solution? What do you say? Coach Tugu. You. Are you trying to resist me? Mu Xiao Xiao, who was standing behind the wall, looking at this scene, almost slammed his chin to the ground, dumbfounded. He really didn't expect that he would see such a scene. Damn, the opening lightning strike. Fuck, this is too exciting, right? No, why do those two people look familiar? Relying on his many years of experience, Mu Xiao Xiao finally searched for those memories from every inch and corner of his brain, and after finding out who these two were, his face changed drastically. Fuck, shit. Chapter 2, NTR World. Is this the chaotic world that the system said? This is the real two-dimensional world? System, you are really not a human being. Did you make a mistake by trapping me in this kind of place? Get me out of here. I don't want to be the protagonist of this kind of world at all. After discovering the tip of the iceberg in the world, Mu Xiao Xiao spat out white foam with a face of despair. Although the system was triggered and he was rewarded with an S-rank reward, but... Hey, looking at the two people at the door of the warehouse with complicated eyes, things can't be changed now. Only... Looking at the menacing scene with deep eyes, he pondered whether he should join the NTR camp or the army of pure love. Anyway, it's a garbage world, so why not blacken it? No, I don't seem to have a choice. He almost forgot this is a positive energy system, only justice can be rewarded, fuck. After making a decision, he didn't hesitate and simply clicked on his mobile phone, and the two people who heard the sound of taking pictures hurriedly looked over and happened to meet Mu Xiaoxiu's eyes. Who? I'm sorry, I just overheard your exchange. In just a moment, Mu Xiaoxiao restrained his entanglement and helplessness, smiled, fiddled with his phone, and walked over. But, I seem to have captured something very powerful. When he shook the phone, the photo on it became clearly visible. Akane Nanao was surprised. Someone actually saw it. She couldn't help but blush, her nervous mood was relieved a lot, but her clenched fist hadn't been loosened yet. You saw it. Coach Tugu quickly regained his composure after being surprised. Which class are you in? This is a matter of our baseball department and has nothing to do with you. Hey? Classmate Mu Xiaoxiao. Akane Nanao recognized Mu Xiaoxiao and covered her mouth. Hey? You know me? Mu Xiaoxiao didn't expect her to know him, so he asked in surprise. We are in the same class, don't you know me? Akane Nanao was a little embarrassed. It was even more embarrassing to be seen by her classmates. I don't remember. Mu Xiaoxiao looked at her carefully and had to say that although she was from. After all, she was the heroine, with top-notch looks, especially her huge chest. No wonder they are being targeted. And she dared to say she and I are still in the same class. Nanao's classmate? So why not give her a head start? Had. The baseball coach, Tugu, turned to the girl. Nanao, is this okay? If you do this, aren't you afraid that Katase will be kicked out of the baseball club? I. _________________. A girl named Nanao Akane was depressed because she quit the swimming club, but she unexpectedly saw a boy from the baseball club, this guy named Katase Xiaoya, who always smiled brightly, and worked harder than anyone. And was youthful every day. She had a good impression of him, so she joined the baseball department as the manager of the baseball department. But because the baseball club forbids dating, the two don't have any contact on weekdays, so they just hid their feelings in their hearts. But today Katase Xiaoya couldn't control it and called her into the school warehouse to confess his feelings. In the end, they were discovered by Coach Tugu, so it became like this. ________________. Tisk tisk tisk, as a teacher, you are actually forcibly threatening the students? It's really evil enough. Is there still a law? Is there any justice? Mu Xiaoxiao shook his voice, filled with righteous indignation and contempt, his eyes seemed to be looking at him with disdain. Then, he glanced at Akane Nanao and said further. By the way, I'm not helping her. I'm just upset with you. It is actually for system rewards, but I won't tell you. Although this Akane Nanao is very beautiful, I have no interest in women of this world at all. He doesn't want to wear a green hat, the next moment he gets a girlfriend. Speaking of which, it's not just the photos. I also turned on the recording function just now. Coach Tugu, you didn't notice it at all? He. Mu Xiaoxiao deliberately dangled the phone, pointing his finger at it. It's a pity, I don't know what will happen if these things get out. Coach Tugu squeezed his fists, his muscles puffed up. Very good, kid, you managed to piss me off. I will let you know the price of meddling in other people's affairs, and you will regret provoking me. It is the duty of a student to obey the teacher honestly. No, Mu-kun, run away. Akane Nanao turned pale with fright and reminded him loudly. Although your caring about me shows that you have a conscience, it's not me who should run away, but you. Why don't you run away while he's focusing on me but waiting to be played with? Tisk, so the heroine of this book has a problem with IQ. But it seems every heroine should have a problem with their IQ in this world. As for this coach, Tugu. The casserole-sized fist brushed Mu Xiaoxiao's hair and hit the air. Nanny. Boom. underscore 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 underscore. Tugu, the coach of the baseball team, was actually sent here because he committed a crime. This guy with a bad reputation in school often harassed girls. But even with his bad reputation, the reason he was still assigned as a baseball coach was because he does have the ability. With a tall and strong body and bulging muscles, his muscular body far exceeds that of a student, so it's no wonder Akane Nanao was nervous. Mu Xiaoxiao is not weak, he is also a good fighter, but standing in front of Coach Tugu, the gap is still reflected, the difference in size, the difference in strength. But host, Mu Xiaoxiao. Body, 7. Strength, 8. Agility, 9. Stamina, 9. Dash spirit, 9. Skill. Foretelling I, D. Language proficiency, D. Skill points, 20. The system is very simple, a simple skill list and attribute values. Language proficiency is the initial gift, and foretelling I is the S-level system reward, plus 20 skill points. All skills start at a minimum of D rank and are upgraded using skill points. Mu Xiaoxiao's attributes were very strong among the students. Although he was struggling with this muscle mass, with his foretelling I, he successfully avoided the punch and turned around to punch him in the nose. Boom! So, this is the skill rewarded by the system, it's a bit powerful. He thought as he looked at the muscle mass and the blood in his hand. Smelly brat! Not only did the blood-spitting nose not restrain him, but it also aroused the ferocity of this big muscle. He kicked out sideways ferociously, and the wind from his legs tore through the air. It's a pity that in Mu Xiaoxiao's eyes, all these were seen through, and all the actions a second later fell exactly into his eyes. Brush! The air shivered. What? It was avoided again? Coach Tugu opened his eyes in disbelief, and before he had time to adjust his movements, the severe pain in his lower body spread to his whole body in an instant like a nuclear explosion. An egg exploded. With a bang. Gay. Chapter 3, Heroine Akane Nanao. The cries of someone killing a pig echoed around the campus, those who saw it were shocked, and those who heard it trembled. Well, there was no one around the campus, so it was fine. It was an obvious fact that no one should be around during such a scene, otherwise, how would that qualify as the legendary blackmail scene in NTR? Nanao Akane didn't dare look at it, she covered her mouth, and her body was dripping with cold sweat. Well, so miserable. A low blow hit so hard that, the strong body of the coach became a decoration, it seemed like it was strong on the outside and dry in the middle, and even if too seems that it has strong muscles, it can only lie on the ground and howl like a dead pig. Mu Xiaoxiao would naturally not miss this opportunity. He rushed forward and started beating him violently. Under the evening sun, his face was printed with a strange and evil look. Coach Tugu, right? I won't beat you to death today. But... He fisted his palms before greeting his face. Let you be mean. Let you be sinister. Let you harass girls. Let you get me into this damn world. Punching and kicking and cursing while beating, Mu Xiaoxiao was completely venting his emotions. The tough guy, Coach Tugu, was beaten into a pig's head until he lay on the ground like a dead pig. Akane Nanao, who was on the side, stared at all this in astonishment, and watching Mu Xiaoxiao's unilateral beating, her mouth opened wide, but she was speechless to say anything. Leaving aside his reputation, Coach Tugu's strength must not be underestimated. The muscles all over his body are scary to look at, but, he was beaten violently by Mu-kun? Bravo! Fuck, bah! After the fight, Mu Xiaoxiao straightened his clothes out of breath, and cursed angrily. The muscle coach under his feet was half dead, but he was still angry. Thinking that his future life would be spent in this world, he couldn't help feeling sad. Another kick in the face. Hey, I really want to run away from this world, but I can't. By the way, he beat up a teacher right after he traveled here. Although he is an ugly bastard, isn't this a bad start? Ding, the host's execution of justice was detected, 1 foot exploded the egg, fatally beating the chicken. Facing oppression and threats, you inflicted severe damage on the famous scumbag teacher and cast an iron fist of justice to save a girl from danger. Rating B, host gets the following rewards: skill points, 5. Skill, beast taming. Hearing the emotionless voice of the system, the negative emotions in his heart dissipated a lot. After beating the muscle trainer violently, the systematic rewards arrived in his account, and he felt much better and more comfortable. So, that's it for now. Next time I will come back to you to withdraw some interest again, Coach Tugu. These are all tools for me to exploit. Although they are scumbags, they are still useful to me. This system is indeed very positive. With this mentality, Mu Xiao Xiao, who felt refreshed after the beating, left a sentence, patted his ass, and left. As for Akane Nanao, who was standing beside him all the time, he didn't even look at it. Akane Nanao carefully hid behind, looked at the muscle trainer who was still lying on the ground, then looked at his back in the distance, struggled for a few seconds, and finally chased after him. This kind of thing happened today, and it was a big blow to her. She had a good impression of Kata's Xiaoya at first, and she thought something would happen in this place, but this coach found out and even threatened her to do that kind of thing. Fortunately, the appearance of a classmate saved her, otherwise, she shuddered when she thought about that fate. However, Tugu will not give up so easily, will he? Akane Nanao chased after Mu Xiao Xiao, looking at the back of his head and lost in thought. After all, this scumbag is the coaching consultant of the baseball team. As long as he's in the baseball department, sooner or later he'll. Thinking of this, she became nervous again. She joined the baseball club just for Xiaoya, who knew she would meet such a person. That, Mu-kun. Thank you for today's matter. If it weren't for you, I would have been, if that guy had succeeded. She quickly walked 2 steps to the side of the boy, thanking him from the bottom of her heart. In addition to being grateful, there was also embarrassment. After all, being discovered by a classmate would be strange if it were not embarrassing. But judging by Mu-kun's appearance, he doesn't seem to care. Well, she was right, Mu Xiao Xiao didn't care, he didn't even turn his head before speaking. I told you I'm not doing it for you, don't think I'm so kind, I just didn't like that muscle head, so I thrashed him hard. Even so, Mu-kun, you saved me. It's a fact. Nanao Akane followed Mu Xiao Xiao out of the school. Seeing him stop suddenly, she hurriedly walked up to him and bowed. Thank you. All right, you can go. We are also classmates. Akane Nanao was a little disappointed and saddened by his indifferent attitude. Mu-kun, I feel that you hate me very much. It's not annoying, it's just a strange classmate. Mu Xiao Xiao didn't want to get too involved with her, so he waved his hand and said impatiently, but stopped in midair after finishing speaking. Wait, do you know where I live? Akane Nanao. How could I know where Mu-kun's home is? Can anyone forget where their home is? Seeing Mu Xiaoxiao's embarrassed face, the girl couldn't help but smile. Are you an idiot? Just now, he had an indifferent expression that screamed, no one is allowed to approach. But now he has failed. Let me help you find it. The girl volunteered, patting her chest, and that terrifying chest trembled, making the corners of his eyes tremble probably too fierce. How can you help me find it? By the way, are we really classmates? Is this still fake? You are too much, you can even forget your classmates. Akane Nanao sighed, she was hurt. Her classmate didn't even know her name. Do you know Yuki Nashita Yukino? Hikigaya Hachiman. Who is that? She asked surprised. What is he saying? What about Kashomajayaka Utah, Sawamura Arari? Or the school in Toyosaki? I've never heard of them. Is this a school in Tokyo? Not, it seems that there is no play. Mew-kun, you are so amazing, you can actually beat Coach Togu. But if this is discovered by the school, it will be very bad, right? I'm not afraid of anything, what are you afraid of? Mew Xiao Xiao curled his lips. So it's not surprising that you, heroines, will be threatened. What? Nothing. Chapter 4, Fortunately I have you, system. He obviously didn't want to get involved, but he didn't expect this girl in the same class to be more obsessive than he imagined. She kept pulling him to talk, but thanks to her, he already knew where he lived. Then he called the teacher and found out the address and his class from the information. Saying goodbye to Akane Nanao, Mew Xiao Xiao walked across the street, looking at this normal city full of traffic with a weird expression. This world seems normal as it should have, but only he, Mew Xiao Xiao, knew the actual reality. About what kind of darkness is hidden beneath these bright lights. Navigating the streets, he arrived at the familiar address of his house. Apartment. It's actually an apartment? Such a luxurious apartment is actually my home. And it's not rented, and there is no need to repay the mortgage. The gift given by the system is surprisingly good. Gifted status, gifted house, and language mastery skills. However, relying on these, there was no way to defeat Togu. Without the S-level precognition ability as a reward, he would surely have been overpowered by the muscle coach. No, there was no doubt that he would have been defeated. Then what would have happened? Hey, I dare not think about it. Looking at it this way, choosing to travel through this world at first was a foolish choice. If I had chosen another normal world, I wouldn't have encountered this kind of teacher, although the rewards would not have been so good. The furniture is complete, even very luxurious. Mew Xiao Xiao took the elevator upstairs, opened the door, and stepped into the home provided by the system. There were all kinds of things in the house. His eyes scanned the room, taking in the various pieces of furniture that adorned the space. There was a comfortable couch in the living room, a sleek dining table in the corner, and a sturdy desk with a laptop on it. He quickly powered it on and began searching for the information he needed. 10 minutes later, his expression was heavy. Really nothing. Although it is still Japan, those familiar things have disappeared. It can be confirmed that this is not the two-dimensional world he thought but another, wonderful world. Why? Why is this? How can anyone live in this kind of world? Fortunately, I have a system. To be honest, he really can't live without a system in this world. Since I can't change it, I can only become stronger step by step and set foot on the top of the world. System, it's great to have you by my side. It didn't respond, and it didn't appear to be doing anything other than triggering. Open. The beast taming skill given by the B-level reward is much inferior to the predictive eye skill given by the S-level reward, and there is also a gap between the two skills, but as long as it is upgraded to the S-level, any skill should not be underestimated. In addition to upgrading skills, can skill points also add attributes? Underscore 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 underscore. Damn it, brat. The next day, Coach Togu came to the school early and lost his temper in his guidance room. He will never forget the humiliation that student brought to him yesterday. There is also Akane Nanao, the manager of the baseball department. A stunning and bright face and a body full of astringency hidden under the clothes, he doesn't want to give up on her either. Students in the same class, none of them can escape. I'll definitely make you all pay the price. As he said that, he went to the playground. The club also had training in the morning, so, when Coach Togu arrived, he saw Xiaoya Kates there. Looking at his youthfulness, he sneered in his heart. This fool didn't even know that his sweetheart almost became his sex slave yesterday, and looking at his cheerful look, it seems she didn't tell him what happened yesterday. Even if she did, what can he do? Turning his gaze, he saw that Akane Nanao was also there. She looked as beautiful as ever. Many members of the club were secretly looking at Akane Nanao. After all, she was too charming. But the girl seemed to be trembling, especially after seeing that familiar muscular figure, so she kept avoiding him. Seeing him walk towards her, Akane Nanao's expression became more flustered. She gritted her teeth and wanted to run away. "Nanao, where do you want to go?" Coach Togu hummed expressionlessly, blocking her way. He looked condescending and oppressive. "It's a pity that the gauze on the face spoiled the atmosphere." "It has nothing to do with you, Coach Togu." Hearing him, Akane Nanao clenched her fists tightly. The shadow of yesterday was still there. Although she was not a person who would submit, and her character was considered strong, but this coach controlled everything in the baseball club. In the baseball club, he's the one calling the shots. I'm going back to the classroom. It's the time for club activities. As the manager of the baseball department, you have to stay." He spoke with an unquestionable tone. Feeling flustered and uncomfortable, she instinctively looked at Kata's Xiaoya but realized that he had run away. However, seeing this, she thought about what happened yesterday. When Coach Togu caught them, Xiaoya Kata's also ran away in fear. Akane Nanao can understand Xiaoya's fear, but why is she feeling a little disappointed? Miu-kun. Just at this time, Mu Xiao strolled leisurely across the playground, holding his school bag in one hand and a carton of milk in the other. Nonchalantly chewing on his straw, he continued on his way. Seeing his figure, Akane Nanao seemed to have found a savior. Her uneasy heart suddenly felt safe, and she waved her hands and shouted. Mu Xiao turned his head. "Fuck. What's up with that muscle mass? Didn't it explode yesterday? Why did you come to school like a normal person today?" He almost spat out the milk. "Fuck, this world is so outrageous. Is it possible to recover from the fatal beating in just a day? Or is it because I didn't strike hard enough?" Body, 715. Strength, 820. Agility, 912. Stamina, 910. Spirit, 910. He added all 25 skill points to attributes. Compared with skills, his basic attributes are more important, and these 25 skill points can greatly improve physical strength. However, the main reason was that the S-level reward for crossing yesterday directly gave 20 skill points. There are a lot of villains in this world, so there should be more system rewards. This may be the only benefit. Now that the attributes have been greatly strengthened, doing it again is bound to completely destroy his lifeblood. Mu Xiao has already started gearing up and is eager to try, but there are too many people on the playground, so it's hard to do it. "Miu-kun, I'm going back to the classroom, let's go together." Akane Nanao ran over Togu to his side and said with a smile. The muscle coach didn't stop her, and just stared at Mu Xiao with gloomy eyes and kept watching him. The terrifying knife-like eyes seemed to dig out his flesh, which could scare any student into a cold sweat and make them dare not look at each other. Mu Xiao, however, just smiled after seeing Coach Togu, and from the corner of his eye, he noticed Nanao's expression of relief running to him, and his thoughts moved. The next moment, he stretched out his hand, and just like that, he hugged her waist. Chapter 5, This World is Scary. What? Hey! The girl never thought that he would do this, and she didn't realize for a while that she was being hugged upright by him. Leaning on him, she feels his temperature, breath, and a strong sense of security in his body. Her heart started beating non-stop for a while, and her cheeks were hot and turning pink. Holding the warm and soft figure in his arms, Mu Xiao shook his eyebrows at Coach and almost wrote the word satisfied on his face. Feeling his mocking gaze, the muscle trainer's eyes burned with anger, but he held back. Endure this anger. This endurance. Mu Xiaoxiao showed a look of surprise. However, now the muscle mass didn't move, and he couldn't do it himself. Let's talk about it after school, when there is no one else around, and then go get a reward. That. Mu-kun, does this look? Hearing the soft whisper, he turned his head. Akane Nanao's shy posture came into view, she was still leaning in his arms without moving. Even now, she has not left. Fuck. Careless. He quickly let go and rushed toward the teaching building. Wait for me. Coach Tugu stared gloomily at the back of Akane Nanao, who was catching up with Mu Xiaoxiao and leaving together. From last night to now, he has never been in a good mood. Now it's even worse. Definitely, absolutely, he will take revenge. But they seem to have forgotten that besides Tugu, there was another forgotten person. Xiaoya Katace, a freshman who joined the baseball club this year, has a crush on Akane Nanao, and he watched what happened just now from the beginning to the end. Seeing the girl he loved in the arms of another man, he just kept standing in the playground in a daze. Nanao. What's going on? Isn't Nanao and Xiaoya a couple? Who is that boy? I don't know, I don't know. How does Nanao know him? Looking at the way they were intimate just now, they are all hugging together. It must be more than just knowing each other. What's the relationship? Members of the baseball club came to Katace Xiaoya one after another as if asking him. Xiaoya, those two people don't look good, you know what's going on? Not sure. Could it be that they are dating? Nanao smiled so brightly when she saw him. Xiaoya, you have to seize the opportunity, otherwise the person you like is going to be taken away. But our baseball club doesn't allow dating, right? Xiaoya Katace's mood was worsened by the chattering voice, he could only force a smile. It should be that everyone is thinking too much, maybe they are just friends. On the other side, the pair of friends put on their indoor shoes next to the shoe cabinet on the first floor, and Akane Nanao was still shy about looking at Mu Xiaoxiao. Mu-kun, why did you do that? Don't think too much, I just wanted to see the reaction of that muscle mass, but I didn't expect him to hold back, tisk. Muscle mass refers to Coach Tugu. Mu Xiaoxiao is really not afraid at all. He dared to provoke that scumbag coach because he just wanted to relieve his anger. Should I also throw away my concerns next time and be stronger? Akane Nanao looked at Mu Xiaoxiao's calm expression and admired him in her heart. From yesterday to now, he has never shown a nervous or scared expression. But, just to test, he hugged me so tightly and told me not to think too much, this would clearly make me think wildly. Could it be that Mu-kun is unexpectedly bad? It was the same yesterday, he said that he wasn't trying to help me, but in fact, he was helping me and didn't want to admit it. It's just that he is a duplicity tsundere. Akane Nanao muttered. Underscore. Upstairs. You are students. How can you smoke here? At the door of the women's restroom, a girl dressed in a school uniform stood pointing her fingers, preaching to the two hot girls in front of her. She had long lavender hair and red eyes, she looked quite serious. Compared to this good girl, those two hot girls, who were still smoking cigarettes, had a lot of heavy makeup on their faces and were dressed in flashy clothes that exposed a significant amount of skin on their arms and legs. Hey? What does it have to do with you? How dare a mere schoolgirl lecture us? The two girls were upset. I'm just persuading you, even though you are seniors, you have to abide by the school rules. The purple-haired girl who has her school bag on her shoulders interlocked their eyes without showing any weakness and said word by word. I said you. Underscore. As soon as Mu Xiaoxiao and Nanao Akane came up, they saw them arguing. Hey? It's Chizuru. Nanao Akane recognized the other party. Chizuru. Mu-kun, you didn't forget all your classmates? Did you? That's the monitor of our class, Shina Chizuru. Akane Nanao covered her mouth to laugh and looked at Chizuru worriedly. Student Chizuru seems to have quarreled with her senior sister, is it okay? Chizuru. Muzioxio's expression changed, he covered his face, unable to bear to look directly at her. That hot girl named Chizuru is actually my classmate. Chizuru has always been very serious in class, she is a top student, but because of this, she has no friends, and everyone avoids her. Nanao Akane sighed that this kind of character was not pleasing. She doesn't have any friendship with Shina Chizuru, but she is the monitor of their class, it's strange that Mu-kun doesn't know her. What are you arguing about? This is the corridor. Tamura-sensei appeared. Bald old man. Mu Xiaoxiao saw him and continued to hold his forehead. I was just explaining the importance of school rules to the seniors. As a result, the two seniors didn't repent at all, and they were ugly and stubborn. Chizuru Shina said it expressionlessly. What? You stinky woman! Damn, it's so poisonous! With this personality, it's no wonder no one makes friends with her. But it's also this personality that some people target. Mu Xiaoxiao was amazed. Okay, it's not a big deal. Don't make noise here. Go quickly. The bald teacher waved his hands. It's not a big deal, is it? Teacher Tamura, do you think that school rules are not important? Such an irresponsible attitude is worthy of being a teacher. Shina Chizuru began to hate the teacher. Shina, the teacher doesn't have time to take care of these trivial matters, but you don't respect the teacher. The bald Tamura's eyes flared up. Are you trying to challenge my authority? Rubbish! You! Tamura-sensei, it's okay, don't be as knowledgeable as the students. At this time another handsome young male teacher appeared, preventing the dispute from expanding. Mr. Tsukino. Shina Chizuru, who had a serious face, immediately changed her expression, showing admiration and secret love in her eyes. Teacher Tsukino is really handsome, no wonder he is so popular. Wait. Mu-kun, wait for me. Nanao Akane saw Mu Xiaoxiao rubbing his eyebrows and leaving with an attitude, that had nothing to do with me, and quickly ran to catch up to him. __________________. Opening the door, he saw that there was no one familiar to him in the classroom, they were all unfamiliar faces. And except for the girls, there were also many yellow-haired people and muscular faces. Yellow hairs, fat otakus, and the ugly bastards. It hasn't even been 2 days since he traveled, and he has seen all kinds. His face twitched as he started shivering. This two-dimensional world is scary. Chapter 6, Poor Thing. Soon, the classroom was full of students. Mu Xiaoxiao's seat was in the middle of the classroom, but instead of returning to his seat, he aimed at the window seat in the back row. And then without wasting any time, he stepped forward to pick up the boy on that chair, and after a friendly exchange, he successfully exchanged seats with the other party. As for the cowardly student, Mu Xiaoxiao didn't know him and didn't care about him. He sat down and looked around. In front of him was a rare non-yellow-haired boy in the class, a short guy who looked weak and slender. In the back seat was a beautiful girl with striking brown eyes and long, purple hair that flowed down to her chest. Although in a normal world, her vibrant hair color would have stood out from others, the distinct hair color is quite common in a 2D world. However, her undeniable beauty was more than enough to make her stand out. A tall and beautiful girl who looked extremely stunning, anyone would have been happy to sit close to such a beauty. However, Mu Xiaoxiao has no interest in anyone from this world. As for the chair next to him, there was a yellow hair with a very unfriendly punchable face, and he was frequently looking past him at the purple-haired girl with playful eyes. Nanao Akane, who had contact with him, was located diagonally above, near the center seat. As for Chizuru Shina, whom he just met, her seat was at the front. After roughly scanning the classroom, Mu Xiaoxiao began to sigh again. In this kind of school, the pressure is so great, and only the system can give him some sense of security. But having said that, there are so many yellow hairs in the classroom, if he just finds someone to beat up, can it trigger the system reward, right? Won't I kill randomly? Suddenly, his black eyes glowed with a pale golden light. This ability of the prophetic eyes allows him to see through everyone's actions. These yellow hairs don't look too easy to mess with, but to him, they are just chickens and dogs. Ha, you grabbed a good seat. The neighbor across the aisle, the yellow-haired boy, turned his gaze back to Mu Xiaoxiao. I've been staring at this seat for a long time. How about it? Do you want to exchange it with me? Mu Xiaoxiao kept his eyes fixed and spoke flatly. Get lost. You really have a personality, I was just saying casually. The yellow-haired boy didn't get angry but laughed. Let's get to know each other, my name is Masaru Oga, how about you? This guy is not a good person, you'd better not talk to him. At that time, the girl behind him said. You might be tricked by him then. Hey, Natsuha, why am I not a good person? Or do you like herbivores like your childhood sweetheart? It's a pity that he hasn't entered high school yet, right? Haha. Shut up. Do you know me well? Don't call me by my name. Mu Xiaoxiao took their communication to a deaf ear and kept observing. Compared with the girl behind him, the weak boy sitting in front of him had a lower sense of presence. He was relatively silent in and out of class, didn't talk much. It seems he had no friends either. As for Tsukino-sensei, Akane Nanao said that he was very popular. Mu Xiaoxiao observed that not to mention many girls showed longing, but quite a few yellow-haired ones also showed disdain. After all, this young teacher is really handsome. TCH, what's the use of being handsome? A man is all about size, and whether he has the ability to fuck and please a woman. Isn't it right, Mu-kun? The yellow hair on his side curled in disdain with a sullen expression on his face as if he were very confident in himself. A black line appeared on Mu Xiaoxiao's face, it was really disgusting, and he regretted sitting in this position a bit. Fortunately, the yellow hair left after the class, and didn't bother him again, otherwise, he wasn't sure if he could control his emotions and resort to violence in the classroom. As a result, not long after Masaru Oga left, 3 hot girls came together and walked up to Mu Xiaoxiao. But their target was not him, but the thin and short boy in front of him. Hi! Harano, have you brought the money? The 15,000 yen was agreed on last time, don't tell me you forgot. Among the 3 girls, the beautiful girl with brown and crooked ponytails was probably the eldest sister among 3, and she was the one who spoke, blocking the boy in the front seat. School bullying? Blackmail? Tisk, there are so many things going on in this school and this class, but it's useless for a guy like him to be blackmailed by girls, isn't it? Mu Xiaoxiao didn't want to go there at first, but then he thought about it. As the host of the positive energy system, should justice be carried out at this time? After all, it is for rewards. Besides, this girl actually sat at his table, it's too shameful. Can he bear it? No game-san, I don't have that much money. The boy who was blocked was called Harano Ayato and he whispered timidly with his head down, not looking at the girl in front of him. I heard that you live alone. You can't even get 15,000 yen, what a joke. Saying that, the girl Nogami Izumi grabbed him by the collar. Don't play dumb. Quickly take out the money. Girl, you can blackmail anyone you want, but can you stop occupying my table? Forward. The sudden insertion of Mu Xiaoxiao stunned several people for a short while, and Izumi Nogami turned her head and stared at him fiercely. Who are you? Do you know that I? Swish. Mu Xiaoxiao stood up abruptly and looked at the girl at close range. His eyes were dark and deep like a black hole, and he stared at the girl in front of him without any emotion. You. Nogami Izumi was taken aback, jumped off the table, and staggered for a few steps. After a few seconds, she quickly recovered from her sense of shame and heat and became angry. At that moment, the other two companions surrounded and blocked Mu Xiaoxiao inside. A dark-skinned woman with short hair and a brown-haired woman with long hair. Damn it! How dare you scare me? Nogami Izumi reached out to grab his collar, but Mu Xiaoxiao pinched her wrist precisely. Why, want to do it? You don't think I don't hit women, do you? As he said this, he applied some force. Ah, it hurts. You bastard! Let go of Izumi. Izumi, are you okay? Ignoring the yelling babies, Mu Xiaoxiao turned to the boy in front, who has a white and tender look on his face, a face that literally says, this person can be bullied. This kind of person would have been the protagonist of some harem anime, right? Harmless to humans and animals, indecisive, easy to bully, arousing the desire to protect. Unfortunately, this isn't a 2D anime word. It is a hentai world, and it would have been okay if it was only a hentai world. But in this world where yellow hairs and ugly bastards ramble across every nook and cranny, this kind of person should be the one who suffers the most. Tisk, poor thing. Chapter 7, How dare you? You, how dare you? Nogami Izumi exclaimed rebelliously as he hurt her wrist and didn't even apologize. Mu Xiaoxiao! Come out! She yelled loudly. Do you really think that the evil forces of hot girls can call the wind and the rain? Mu Xiaoxiao showed no signs of timidity, shrugged his shoulders, and followed her away. As they reached an empty classroom, Nogami Izumi turned around abruptly and waved, but Mu Xiaoxiao had predicted this, and he grabbed her wrist one step ahead and pressed her hard against the wall. Wall dong! Boom! The wall made a loud noise. Let go of her! Hinata Sae, a black-haired, dark-skinned girl rushed towards him with all her teeth and claws, but Mu Xiaoxiao easily dodged sideways and grabbed her arm with the other hand. Boom! Hinata was also pressed against the wall. Only the long-haired girl looked left and right with an innocent face. Izumi, we don't seem to be able to beat him. Minako. Why are you talking about without morale? Hurry up and help us. Wow, he's so strong, I can't break free. Izumi, why don't you forget it? The girls yelled, and there was a little more fear in their eyes as they stared at Mu Xiaoxiao. This guy was stronger than the boys they bullied before, although he didn't look like it from the outside. They could feel the terrifying power in this guy's body. Especially at such a short distance, the masculine aura rushing toward their faces made the angry and fearful girls feel a little strange in their hearts. You hot girls often blackmail people in the class, Mu Xiaoxiao said. What blackmail? This is borrowing, do you understand borrowing money? Izumi Nogami retorted. Borrow? How about I borrow some from you too? Mu-kun, Sanada Minako smiled and said coldly. You really want to borrow money, we agree, can you, let Izumi and Hinata go? Oh? You don't look like you are short on money. Why do you want to blackmail people? Mu Xiaoxiao let go, not worried about their second attack at all. Minako. You're so worthless, you even compromised with him, Nogami Izumi said while gritting her teeth. Even though Mu Xiaoxiao let her go, she was still unwilling. I can't help it, Izumi, we can't beat him, Hinata Sae added while rubbing her arms. This time we hit an iron plate, she muttered. Izumi, our situation is very bad now. There is no one in this abandoned classroom. If he wants to do something, we can't stop him, she said with concern. Sanada Minako followed the reminder. Hearing her, Mu Xiaoxiao was speechless. Are you implying that I should do something? As for blackmailing, it was just a whim. What is a whim? This is the job of hot girls, do you understand? Izumi no Game said angrily. As a hot girl, you have to maintain this kind of majesty. Didn't you see that everyone in the class dared not resist us? What about now? Mu Xiao squeezed his fists and said with a smile. Does your gang of hot girls still have dignity? The crooked ponytail girl blushed with anger. Mu-kun. The door was pushed open, and Akane Nanao broke in. Seeing him standing here intact, she immediately breathed a sigh of relief. What are you doing here? This is a school, you better restrain yourself. Akane Nanao reminded the three girls. The teacher will find out later. TCH. Anyway, I won't admit defeat to you. Mu Xiao, I will definitely find my place again next time, and I must let you surrender at my feet. Humph. After speaking, she ran away in despair. Although she was talking harshly, why does he feel that she was stern? Ding, the host's execution of justice has been detected. Seeing injustice, the host lent a helping hand. By using force, you deterred the gang of hot girls, successfully helping the victim escape, and causing the trio of girls to fear, earning AD and a reward. Skill points, 2. That's it. This is gone? So little. Mu-kun, are you alright? Why are you here? Mu Xiao was surprised. I was a little worried when I saw you leaving with them, so I wanted to come and help you. Looking at his surprised face, Akane Nanao smiled shyly. Aren't we friends? We should help each other. What a ghost, my friend. When did we become friends? And help each other asses, don't you know my strength, do I need help? Although there were countless complaints, Mu Xiao still endured them. After all, she was also kind, and he received this kindness. Those three girls. Nanao, do you know them well? No, I only know that they are dominant in school and often bully others. I haven't had much contact with them, and no girls dare to approach them. I didn't expect you, Mu-kun, to get involved with them. That Izumi no Game. I heard that her family background is very good, she is a young lady, you have to be careful. Missy? The thing I'm least afraid of is Missy. Mu Xiao laughed. I hope she can bring me fun. This guy is really fearless. By the way, why did you sit by the window seat today? I like that seat better. You have to be careful of the yellow-haired boy, Mizuru Oga, next to you. I heard that he is a delinquent playboy and likes to play with girls. Akane Nanao almost became Mu Xiaoxio's encyclopedia, and she kept introducing him to the situations in the class. Playboy? Then it isn't me who has to be careful, but you. Mu Xiao muttered. Of course, I'm not interested in him. It's just that he is different from Coach Togu. Although he harasses women, it is said that he is good at molesting women. Everyone avoids him at school. As she said that, she noticed that Mu Xiao shot a strange look at her, and her face turned red. I just heard these things, I don't know the details, don't look at me like this. I'm really not interested in him. And I'm different from those dirty girls, I will never be shaken. What can Mu Xiao say? Can only he. In the classroom, the trio of hot girls in the right seat noticed Mu Xiao, who walked in with Akane Nanao. Izumi no Game looked at them, but although she was still gnashing her teeth and feeling resentful, she probably realized that Mu Xiao was different from the students they usually bully. They don't dare make trouble again. Akane Nanao breathed a sigh of relief. Izumi no Game and the two girls were always defiant in class, if there was a quarrel in the classroom, it would definitely not end well. But Mu Xiao didn't care about the faces of those girls. After stepping into the classroom, his relaxed expression suddenly changed, his displeasure was palpable, and his demeanor was so intimidating and murderous that Akane Nanao trembled in fear. Mu-kun? She asked, but Mu Xiaoxiao didn't answer. He suddenly quickened his pace and made his way towards his seat. Akane Nanao's gaze followed him, and she saw a yellow-haired boy sitting in his chair. It was the same Masaru Oga she had just mentioned, who had a bad reputation. The yellow-haired guy occupied Mu Xiaoxiao's chair, and the large breast was in the back seat, and was chatting with the purple-haired beautiful girl, but the girl behind him looked impatient. Natsuha, do you want to go to karaoke together after school? I told you not to call me by my name. Alright, Shinomiya, I sincerely invite you. Not interested. Reject me again, your childhood sweetheart. Hello. Mu Xiaoxiao approached, raised his head slightly, looked down from above, and said in a cold voice like a glacier. Who told you to sit here? Ah? Haha, Mu Xiaoxiao, you. You fucking dare to smile at me. Snapped. Suddenly, a hand that didn't look like it belonged to a very strong arm stretched out from the side, unexpectedly grabbing his neck like a pair of iron clamps. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't shake it off. Masaru Oga's veins bulged, but he still couldn't break free from the grip. Who allowed you to sit in my chair? The eyes that stared back at him were devoid of emotion as if they belonged to a robot that was indifferent to anything. But it was precisely because of this that the aura and murderous intent that emanated from the person made him break into a cold sweat. Woo-ah, he gasped, trying to increase the strength in his neck. He felt like he was dying. This is the first and only time, Mu Xiaoxiao said as he lifted him from the seat, pinching his neck like it was nothing. It was no different from carrying a chicken, which showed just how strong Mu Xiaoxiao was. Next time, I'll let you die terribly, he warned. Boom. Bang. With that, the yellow hair was sent flying as he knocked down several tables and chairs, and finally landed heavily amidst the mess of tables, chairs, and textbooks. Is this the effect of increasing attributes? It's okay, if this guy does it again, then he doesn't mind killing him. It's a fucked up world anyway, no one would care about a missing yellow hair. Chapter 8, Beast Taming Skills. Is this Mu Xiaoxiao? The body under the school uniform does not look strong, but Masaru Oga could clearly feel the strength contained in that body, and he is not a weak man. He is also a strong type in the class, but he was crushed by him. Not skill, but pure strength, crushing strength. Is that guy a monster? Cough cough. Rubbing his neck and coughing before recovering from the fright, Masaru Oga restrained his playfulness just now and silently cleaned up the desks and books on the floor, not daring to fart. But, in those cloudy eyes, apart from fear, there was also coldness and anger. Natsuha Shinomiya stared at Mu Xiaoxiao in amazement. She was dumbfounded as she watched the whole scene. This Mu Xiaoxiao is very powerful. She is proficient in Aikido, so she could see that although Mu Xiaoxiao has no skills, he is full of strength. Seeing the annoying flies being driven away, the girl hesitated and spoke in a small voice with flushed cheeks. Thanks. But Mu Xiaoxiao, who took out a tissue to wipe the seat, was stunned and glanced at her strangely. She wouldn't think that I drove that guy away just to help her, would she? After wiping, he threw the paper towel away, and it landed on the yellow hair that was suffocating his anger, treating him like a trash can. Akane Nanao was terrified when she saw it. Mu-kun, you are really too domineering. But that yellow hair didn't dare to resist at all, so he could only put on a more stinky face to suppress this anger. Mu-kun, thank you. After sitting down, the boy in front also thanked him. Harano Ayato turned his head shyly and said, "Thank you for your help about the matter just now. What's going on with these people? Everyone is thanking each other, do they really think I'm a good person? Well, under the temptation of the system, I am indeed a good person." Mu Xiaoxiao leaned back and twirled the pen in his hand. "It's not about helping, those women were just hindering me. He found this boy quite pleasing to the eye, the boy who has rarely been pleasing to the eye since he transmigrated to this dark world. You are so soft and weak, no wonder you can't even deal with a few women. Nogami-san and the others are different. Harano Ayato said, then lowered his head, his voice was as thin as a mosquito. I also know that I am very timid. But Mew-kun, you are so powerful, even Oga-kun doesn't dare to resist you. And Harano Ayato felt that he was different from other people because, although he was strong, he would not bully the weak. Mew-kun makes him feel safe. Can I call you Brother Mew? There was a look of admiration in his eyes, and that pseudo-mother's face was blushing and shy, which made Mew Xiao feel sick to his stomach. Just call me by my name, and don't look at me like that. Oh, my name is Harano Ayato. Mew-kun, you can call me by my name too. Mew Xiao chatted with him for a few words and then began to study his own system and abilities. The little friction with that yellow hair just now did not trigger the system, which seems to be not enough. So, the trigger system is at least D level. Then there are skills. As for the ability of the prophetic eye, he is already very familiar as he has already used it, but he has not tried beast taming. Let's see if there is a suitable target in school. When the school bell rang, Akane Nanao sat in her seat with her hands on her face in a daze. It's time to go to club activities. However, suddenly, I don't want to go to the baseball club. Obviously, there is a boy in the baseball club that she likes, but because of the existence of that perverted scum coach, Akane Nanao really doesn't want to go. Or, turning around, she locked onto Mew Xiao, who was talking with Harano Ayato by the window and waved. Mew-kun. Mew Xiao. The girl ran up to him. I'm going to the baseball club. Well, do you want to go with me? Hey? What am I going to the baseball club with you for? Not interested. Although it was a good choice to get wool from that coach, now he wants to try the ability first. And from what he saw yesterday, that muscle mass has a high endurance, so he didn't think that muscle mass dared to do anything. So she would be safe for a few more days. Why are you rejecting so decisively, idiot? Akane Nanao complained. He would not be popular with girls like this. Anyway, I have something else to do. Bye. Wait. Seeing the disappearing figure who walked away without hesitation, Nanao Akane slumped her shoulders and had no choice but to give up. There are so many people in the baseball club, and Shao-kun is also there, that scumbag shouldn't dare to mess around. Occasionally, some small animals appeared in the school, such as kittens and puppies. Mew Xiao walked around the courtyard behind the building but did not see any pets. He had no choice but to focus on the sparrows on the telegraph poles. This is a very common animal. After whistling, Mew Xiao tickled his fingers at the sparrows above, who turned their heads towards him. After blowing for 5 minutes, only 2 of the 4 sparrows flew down and landed in front of Mew Xiao, while the other 2 ran away. Hey! One of the abilities of beast taming skills is an affinity with animals, but this affinity is not very good. It took me a long time. Probably because these birds are too vigilant. But now that he had succeeded, the 2 sparrows became close, were not afraid of Mew Xiao at all, and chirped in front of him. Mew Xiao stretched out his hand, and mysterious power circulated in his palm. He gently stroked their heads and wings. After touching them for a while, they flew to Mew Xiao's shoulders. They were much closer than before. In addition to being friendly, I can also communicate with animals. Mew Xiao closed his eyes and felt for a while. Although I can't understand the sounds of animals, I can understand the meaning they want to express. However, it may be because of the new contact that Mew Xiao still can't understand the meaning of the sparrows. If it lasts for a while, he believes that a tacit understanding can be cultivated. At that time, not only would he be able to understand, but he would also be able to pass on what he wanted to express to them. This ability is very convenient. It is not too much to say that the future is promising. Although the use of this ability will consume mental power, the burden is not as great as the foretelling eye. It is enough to use precognition eye when fighting, but of course it is not necessary in normal times. Forget about leveling up, the D-level beast taming is enough, and the skill points should be reserved for improving attributes. I don't know what will happen if the skill is upgraded to S level. Suddenly. Russell. Hey? Where is the sound coming from? Russell. It was coming from the grass behind him. He tiptoed forward to poke the flowers, and there was a dirty cat lying there, making cute sounds. It was a cute black Bombay cat. His eyes lit up. Chapter 9, Do You Like Him? In the baseball club, Katace Xiaoya, who trained the hardest in the past, was also absent-minded at this time. This state has lasted for the whole day since he saw the girl he liked being so intimate with another boy in the early morning. He's been so out of his mind. Even the most important baseball became dispensable. During the club training, he secretly glanced at Nanao Akane, who was arranging props and equipment. The rest of the baseball team also noticed Xiaoya Katace's state and deliberately avoided them, leaving space for him and Akane Nanao. As for the muscle trainer, Tugu, whether it was because there were too many people or because Mu Xiaoxiao had something to do with her, he only looked at Akane Nanao with strange eyes occasionally and pretended not to know the rest of the time. A normal look. As Akane Nanao thought, Tugu didn't come to harass her all the time, letting the girl under the scorching sun breathe a sigh of relief. But what she didn't expect was that when Tugu didn't come, Katace Xiaoya took the initiative to find her. Akane, can we talk about it? Hey? Xiao-kun. Akane Nanao raised her hat slightly and looked at the boy in front of her in surprise. What do you want to talk to me about? Because of the rules of the baseball club, Xiaoya Katace would not even stare at her, not to mention take the initiative to talk to her, in front of others. Well, there's something important. I want to talk about it with you alone. Is that okay? Talking alone? You can, but the rules of the baseball club. It's okay, the coach has agreed, he won't say anything. That scumbag coach actually agreed to Xiao-kun looking for her. It's kind of weird. Akane Nanao finally left with Xiaoya Katace. She believed in Xiao-kun and stayed away from the baseball club's training ground. She came to a place near the wall, and they stood facing each other under the big tree. This was the first time the two communicated alone after they met in the warehouse yesterday and were caught. Akane Nanao was in a complicated mood, and so many things happened in just 2 days. Coach Tugu threatened her and Mu Xiaoxiao saved her halfway, but because of this, she and Mu Kun became friends. This is probably the luckiest thing. Xiao-kun, it's still time for the baseball club to practice, what are you looking for me to say? Nanao Akane took off her hat and asked curiously. Akane. I wanted to find you at noon, but I was hesitant. Katace Xiaoya also seemed very nervous. Yesterday, when we met and were discovered by Coach Tugu, at that time, I was a little nervous and ran first, sorry. It's nothing, I can understand. After all, we did violate the rules of the baseball club. The girl shook her head. Yes, but Coach Tugu didn't blame me and told me that I can get along with you more outside of the club. The coach is really a kind person with a big heart. Broad-minded? Nice guy? Nanao Akane frowned. Xiao-kun won't be deceived by him, right? Xiao-kun, you came to me just to talk about this. No, actually, I want to ask you about the boy in the morning. Meow. Meow. Bombay cats are called little black panthers. This kind of cat has always been muscular and full of wildness, but the one in front of Mu Xiaoxiao was very thin and small, although it also has a hint of wildness. But it was very weak. And was making cute cat noises. Maybe because cats are not afraid of humans, he slowly stretched out his hands. The little cat didn't run away or move, he just watched as his hands fell on it and stroked him. Wow, it's nice to touch. This Bombay cat seems to be just a kitten, and is it a female? Stroking her head, extending my arms to her back, and gently hugging her, I stood up. It seems like a stray cat, right? Meow. Probably because Muzioxio's beast taming ability worked, the kitty not only didn't resist but sniffed and rubbed against his arms. Or call it a black cat. It doesn't seem like a girl's name or Anna. It feels too weird. Mu Xiao Xiao pondered for a long time and finally gave up thinking. Just call you Luna, which seems to be the name of a black cat in a certain anime, and it suits you quite well. He decided to adopt this little black cat, including the 2 sparrows on his shoulders. The beast taming skill was very useful so that the little ones can understand the meaning he conveyed in the future. That's when they make a difference. Hiss, headache, have I been using it for too long? Mu Xiao Xiao withdrew the energy in his palm, and the comfortable feeling of the little black cat that had lost its energy nourishment disappeared, and she meowed a few times. Luna, do you want to come to my house? Be my cat. Putting her back on the ground, Mu Xiao Xiao asked with a smile. Meow. Without any hesitation, the little black cat was tamed by Mu Xiao Xiao in just 10 minutes. She walked gracefully to his feet, tilted her head, and gently rubbed against his trouser legs. It's done, this ability is really good, can I open a zoo at home in the future? Mu Xiao Xiao picked up the little black cat again. Luna, and you, let's have a friendly exchange. A black cat and 2 sparrows stared at each other, speechless. Morning? Morning is, you are talking about Mew-kun. Nanao Akane quickly remembered, and then her expression was a little embarrassed. If I remember correctly, Mu Xiao Xiao hugged me at that time, right? I didn't think much about it at the time. It turned out that Xiao-kun was there, didn't it mean that he saw how intimate I was with Mew-kun? No wonder he came back to ask me. Mew-kun. He's my classmate, named Mu Xiao Xiao. It's normal that you don't know him. Akane Nanao explained. It was just a misunderstanding at that time. Mew-kun and I are actually just friends. Just friends? Katace Xiaoya also breathed a sigh of relief. Is he just a friend? Akane, do you like him? Why do you think so? Mew-kun and I have only known each other not long ago, how could I like him? Chapter 10, Are you a cat slave? But it was undeniable that when Akane Nanao thought of the scene where he saved her from Coach Tugu, especially the confrontation with him, her heart skipped a beat. At that moment, there was a feeling of a heartbeat. No, what am I thinking? I like Xiao-kun. Shaking her head violently, she shook it all out of her head. Xiaoya Katace also scratched his head in embarrassment and laughed. That's right, it seems I misunderstood. We just met yesterday, but although we haven't known each other for a long time, Mew-kun is a very powerful and interesting boy. Akane Nanao said with a smile. Thanks to his help, I can. In short, he and I are already very good friends now, let me introduce you next time. A good friend. But Akane Nanao didn't know that after hearing what she had just thought so unilaterally, Katace Xiaoya's heartache that he had just let go returned. Although Akane explained that she and Mu Xiao Xiao were just friends. But, seeing the smile on her face, this bright smile. As long as Mu Xiao Xiao is mentioned, she will show this expression. It will inevitably make him think wildly. Are they really just friends? Why are you so familiar after only 2 days of acquaintance, Akane? By the way, Xiao-kun. Are you and Coach Tugu very close? Talking about this matter, Akane Nanao couldn't help but get serious. He often looks for you. Coach Tugu is the supervisor of the baseball department. Of course, we would be close. What are you talking about? He is not a good person, Shao Kun, you'd better stay away from him. Akane Nanao said seriously. She was now at the height of her vigilance toward Tugu. Akane, why are you saying that? Coach Tugu is an important member of our baseball club. He is not only responsible for training but also for all kinds of things. Why do you want to keep me away from him? You should know that my goal is to become the main player of the baseball club. Katace Xiaoya was also a little angry, and he spoke with a questioning tone. Originally, he would not get angry so easily, but now he was in a bad mood. Shao Kun. I know your dream, but you don't know his true face at all. After he found us in the warehouse yesterday, because he was after me, that person has bad intentions toward me. Impossible. Katace Xiaoya's first reaction was disbelief. Coach Tugu stopped us for the sake of the baseball club. This is the club's rule, isn't it? He is also doing it for the good of the baseball club. It must be Akane, you have misunderstood. Sometimes it is difficult to change the preconceived first impression, especially since Katace Xiaoya already has a grudge against Akane Nanao and Mu Xiao. Shao Kun, you don't know what happened yesterday. If Mu Kun hadn't saved me, I would have been raped by that scum. Akane. You are saying all this just because of that Mu Xiao, right? Hearing this, Katace Xiaoya was also very upset. Because he had a conflict with Coach Tugu, did he speak against him? Shao Kun. What did you say? That Coach Tugu is not a good person? I also think that Mu Xiao is not a good person. If that's the case, why don't you cut off contact with him? What? Taking a step back. Akane Nanao looked at the boy in front of her in disbelief, the boy she liked. Her face turned pale and bloodless. She mustered up the courage to tell Shao Kun, hoping that he could protect her. But she never thought that this would be the result, that he would actually stand by Tugu's side. Shao Kun, you don't believe me. The teenage girl was hit. Seeing the girl's flushed eyes, his heart softened. I believe you, but I don't believe that person, you must have been bewitched by him. I will ask Coach Tugu about this matter. Ask him. Will he tell the truth? Why is Shao Kun so naive? Akane Nanao could already guess the result. She bit her lip and silently watched Katace Xiaoya's resolute back as he turned and left. Her body fell weakly on the tree trunk, and her nose was sore. The girl doesn't want to go back to the baseball club, let alone see Coach Tugu. She squeezed the hat in her hand and walked in the opposite direction. Underscore. Come on, circle around. Meow. Mu Xiao squatted in the open space and stretched out his fingers, commanding Luna. Upright. Meow. Kick. Meow. After getting along for a while, the cat can understand these simple commands, probably because she is very smart. Next, let's do something more difficult. Mu Xiao said with a chuckle, hooking his finger. Let's do some push UPS. Meow. No? What about pull UPS? He stretched out his arms. Meow. Okay, there is always a time to walk upside down. The little black cat was full of question marks. What's the matter with this owner? Evie, if you want to let me do such weird things, don't force me to do anything. Tisk, Luna, your body is so weak, you need more exercise, you can't slack off, do you understand? Cluck. After Nanao Akane and Katace Xiaoya also separated, she wandered around in a daze, only to see Mu Xiao squatting, not knowing what he was doing. After approaching quietly, she found that he seemed to be immersed in playing with the cat and didn't notice her. Seeing this scene, she couldn't help laughing. The chuckle was loud, and even her depressed mood improved a lot. Why is it you again? Mu Xiao Xiao turned back with a slumped face and said nothing. But the meaning in his eyes was this. Although he knew that she would participate in club activities, this place is quite far from the playground, so how can she meet him there? She won't really pester me, will she? What a coincidence, Mu-kun, although I really wanted to say that. Akane Nanao wiped her eyes and smiled. Sure enough, you stayed here on purpose to wait for me, right? Although you refused to go to the baseball club with me before, you still care about me. I'm here to practice skills. Who the fuck is waiting for you? His mind cracked open. What's going on with this girl? Do you want to be so narcissistic? Believe it or not, I will give you a punch. Is that so? Am I really misunderstanding? Akane Nanao blushed and said stiffly. Who knows if it's true or not? But I didn't expect you to tease cats here. Mu-kun, you still have such a side. Could it be that you are a cat slave?